Happy Movement Monday, Mob. Today I got a really good hip mobility routine for you to do this week. But before I dive in and show you these 3 moves, 2 weeks ago we only got 24 views on our weekly routine, and last week we only have 30 so far. And we have over 200 Mobility Mob members in our private Facebook group, so these numbers aren't adding up. If you want me to keep up with these free weekly mobility routines, then I need at least 100 views on this week's video. So hold your other mobsters accountable for getting this week's routine in, because I can't do it alone, and together we're stronger and more mobile. So let's dive in. So this week's routine is going to be heavy on our hip rotation. So the first thing we're going to do is what I like to call windshield wipers. So we're going to lean back, kind of sit up nice and tall, knees bent at about a 90-degree angle, and then we're just going to simply rock our knees from side to side. So this should be pretty dang easy for most of you. We're going to do a solid 5 on each side, just going back and forth. Now, this should be a fluid motion. This is kind of like the warm up to the next moves. But if you get stickiness somewhere in these ranges, then know your hips need a lot of work, but don't worry, that's what I'm here for. And as you rep this out, you should be able to go further and further. So I'm really trying to drive both knees towards the ground. And then I could tell my left side's a little bit tighter today, so I'll focus on that maybe a little bit more during this routine. Nice. So I'll go one more to each direction, and then we're going to take this up to the next level. So there's number 1, our windshield wipers. Number 2, we're going to be doing 90-90 hinge transitions. So what the heck is that? Well, first we're going to get into a 90-90 position. So that means this knee's at a 90, this knee's at a 90, and we're going to sit up nice and tall. You can use your hand here for support if you need to, and then we're going to hinge forward until we feel a lot of stretch in the backside of the glute, hip, maybe a little bit of the hamstring, and then we're going to drive that knee or shin into the ground and use that momentum to transition to the other side. Hinge, feel a stretch, drive, transition. I think you get the gist of this and why it's called 90-90 hinge transitions. So we're going to do a good 5 of these on each side. And if you could tell, I'm trying to fold deeper into that hinge motion, and that's really going to loosen up your posterior hip capsule and the backside of the glutes, piriformis, all those fun muscles that like to get tight, especially if we're stuck in a desk for most of the day. So here's number 4. On this side, nice, really falling deeper into it. Of course, you can always do more reps if you need to. Again, everybody's hips are a little bit different. That's why each one of these moves is going to progress higher and higher. All right, so there's move number 2. Move number 3 is very similar, but we're going to do a get up or a sit up within that transition. So what does that look like? Again, we're in this 90-90. You can use your hand for support, but when you hinge forward, as soon as you feel that stretch in the backside of the glute, you're going to drive your shin or knee into the ground to get back up. You're going to sit back, transition to the other side, and you guessed it, get up. Take your time sitting back. That's going to be where most of those mobility gains come from. You don't want to rush through this. Turtle wins the race whenever we're trying to slowly control our joints so we get that long-term mobility gains. Again, if you're already going to take the time to do the stretching or the routines, you might as well do them the correct way to get the best bang for your buck. Nice. Here's number 3, and again, we'll do 5 on each side. Transition, hinge, drive, boom. I'm feeling loose, and I feel the backside of my hips engaged. This is one of my favorite lower body warm-ups as well, this sit-up 90-90 transition. Nice, I think that was 5, but I'll do one more for good measure. Again, still learning how to talk and move at the same time without losing count of how many reps I'm doing. Nice. And then I can go right back to the first move, which was those windshield wipers, and just see That's very loose now. And this was my tight side. Now I'm silky smooth. So don't forget to always reassess your movements, especially in a progressing routine like this. And like I mentioned, I want to share as much free content, especially to those private members in our Facebook group. But I'm a one-man show, so if we're not keeping each other accountable and doing these weekly routines, then I'm just going to stop doing them altogether. So if you don't want that to happen, make sure you tag your other members in the comments below, and I'll keep dropping these weekly. Or I just won't drop the next one until we at least get 100 views on it. So that could be a week, could be a month, but that's up to you and how proactive you are about your health. Again, the reason I made this group was for proactive people. So you're not waiting until your hips are tight. You're always getting ahead of it so then your hips never get tight. That's the mindset we got to start unlocking as a group. So maybe I'll see you next week. We'll see how the numbers are. So get sharing this.